Hey, good afternoon. It's Wednesday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Dominic D'Angelo. He's Robert Karpelis. We're like two strangers meeting in the night, almost like Tony Khan and Shane McMahon. Robert, how are you doing?
Big news day today, obviously, but the more things change, the more things stay the same. We are sorry we were starting a few moments late there. Dominic D'Angelo, best producer in the business, sent me the link to yesterday's show. So I'm clicking there, waiting. I'm going, wait a minute. It's not July 30th. It is the 31st. We are here. For those of you who were questioning on Twitter, yesterday's episode is up and available now on streaming on iTunes, Spotify, and the like. A little bit of a delay there. Good show yesterday. It's an evergreen statement. We're gonna get, you know what? Andrew Hermes here has wrote, "Damn it, Dom." I feel like that's gonna be a shirt.
Yeah.
I feel like that may be. So someone asked yesterday were some of the shirts that I wear where they come from, and they're available on Pro Wrestling Tees on the creative dash ish store, the kayfabe shirt, the best of luck in your future endeavors shirt. I really feel like we need a damn it Dom shirt
I'm screwing up so big time.
because I'm pretty sure Marcus will buy that for your whole family.
I think so.
We are sitting on a gold mine.
Yes, guys, go to here you go.
Hey, look at you putting the link up there. Thank you. Look at that. So we'll throw some. Maybe we'll do a Rumor and Innuendo shirt. By the way, we have a cool logo. People like the logo. We don't have time to talk about logos, dude. The wrestling gods said, "Oh no, they're going to have to talk about the Dynamite preview," and they were like, "Boom! Here is a grainy Zapruder film style photo of Tony Khan and Shane McMahon. This looks like something from an episode of Cheaters."
It does, doesn't it? Like, oh my god,
like this is Tim. Oh no!
Oh boy!
I have questions.
I do too, Robert.
So why don't you? Because I'm sure your gentleman friend Sean Ross Sapp had a couple of key points here. So why don't you set the table? Mr.
Yes.
D'Angelo?
So Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful has confirmed with sources that a meeting did take place. Obviously, we see the photo here after the fact.
There's a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture.
What investigative journalism from our good friend Sean Ross Sapp.
Well, in his defense, I think this got posted before that photo got posted. So this was a little bit beforehand. With Khan and McMahon discussing possibilities moving forward, Sapp noted that Khan had been open to talking with McMahon for a while, but it's believed that they'd never met or even spoken before the rumors about McMahon possibly joining AEW emerged recently. Khan is said to have been very open to using Shane McMahon for several weeks now, and has also made it clear that he was open to the idea of talking to McMahon when people have brought the topic up to him backstage. Those that Fightful spoke to on Tuesday had not been briefed on a meeting. Well, it's clearly happened, some form of interaction, whether they're just chopping it up, talking about the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, all that good stuff, or were they perhaps discussing wrestling? And what, Robert, do you think if they were to come, the meeting of the minds here, not a Blue Chew plug, do you think this is, how would you use Shane McMahon? What would you do to maximize your minutes, make AEW feel more valuable with Shane incorporating? And would he?
Well, first we have to determine what the tallest point in Wembley is for him to safely jump off of.
That's a good point.
So this is lots to unpack. Happening somewhat in real time. We just found this out maybe like an hour ago.
It was an hour or so.
So here's the thing. We know nothing about what the actual conversation was between Shane McMahon and Tony Khan. And on the one hand, yes, you absolutely, if you are Tony Khan, have that conversation. You meet with Shane, you talk to Shane, you have a business conversation, a talent conversation, whatever that looks like. This is not quite as shocking as Eric Bischoff showing up on Monday Night Raw, but it is definitely in the ballpark.
Sure, absolutely.
You know, you have to remember with Shane was there for the majority of the Attitude Era's success. He was working with Vince and Pat and Bruce. He was behind the scenes. He was on camera. He was, in a lot of ways, Vince's right-hand man. I mean, you think back to the stories of him courting and babysitting Mike Tyson and being responsible for that. Shane is someone who comes to any organization with decades of wrestling knowledge. Obviously, he was embroiled in the succession-like war for who was going to eventually take over the company. And Stephanie usurped him as the golden child, the future of the WWE, and now ultimately it's with Triple H. So Shane, sort of in a weird position. He left the WWE to go be his own man. He was working, doing something involving cable pay-per-view being available in China. Obviously, he married into a very wealthy family. His wife, the Mazzola Cornwell family heiress. So it's not like he needed to work. The thing about Shane is, even during my time there, he was the one that always tested the best amongst the four McMahons.
Like kind of push back a little bit. Is
No,
that
no,
what you mean?
the most well liked. When we would,
Oh, most well liked. I see what. Okay. Okay.
Shane was always the one that fans enjoyed the most. He felt the most relatable. In some ways, he was sort of the savior of the future savior of WWF. That he was the guy who could speak to Vince. That Shane was a wrestling fan, but he was an ECW fan. He was also an MMA fan. He had different ideas and styles than what Vince did, and was going to push the company forward until Vince, pushed him off the ledge. Shane coming back in recent years was first very welcome. People were really excited to see him. They went nuts for Shane McMahon, and then eventually they overplayed the Shane hand. We remember him going to Saudi and winning that giant goofy.
Oh my gosh.
The involvement that he had in that Royal Rumble, where he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way behind the scenes. He was just sort of overexposed in a lot of ways. And they, again, eventually just said, hey, thanks for coming, but, goodbye. We saw him at Mania in that terrible botched spot, and he was never to be seen or heard from again. It's clear in the new WWE TKO world, Shane is not factored into that in any way, shape, or form. It is The Rock on the board of TKO. It is Triple H and Nick Khan running WWE. And Shane has wrestling in his blood and can absolutely be an asset to Tony behind the scenes or on camera.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, what did you have any interaction with Shane when you were there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved, it's funny, I loved anytime I got a chance to work with Shane, deal with Shane. He came, we filmed something for WWE 24/7. It was that was the beauty of that, was like you could just pitch something and it happens. It was called the Legends of Wrestling Roundtable.
Oh yeah,
And we
I
just
remember
got
that.
a bunch of old dudes sitting around
Yeah.
drinking out of coffee cups that actually had booze in them, which
Ooh.
was super. Oh, it was great because Patterson knew the code was coffee, because we didn't want, and the off chance Vince or Kevin Dunn saw it, to see them drinking. So Patterson goes, hey, I need another cup of coffee. And a PA brought him a cup of coffee. And he was so pissed. I'm like, oh, that's great. Shane showed up just to watch this.
Really?
Not to produce, not to have a hand in it. He was just like, I just kind of want to watch the old guys sit around and tell stories for a number of hours. So he's that kind of guy. Very approachable, very friendly, very nice guy. Stephanie has a reputation that is fairly unearned.
Mm-hmm.
She's very smart, very savvy, really, really nice. I loved working for Stephanie. I thought she was great. You sometimes confuse the character with the person.
Sure.
But Shane, always a likable guy. And Tony Khan needs something to shake things up. The momentum is clearly swinging the pendulum back to WWE, and Tony has not been able to capture lightning in a bottle.
Absolutely. Robert, too, I think I've said this plenty of times on here before, but ever since Cody left and returned to WWE, that felt like a gut punch they never recovered from. Even when they had CM Punk there, and then on top of that, that got botched. So it's just like, it almost felt like the point of no return. Shane McMahon kind of gives you a little bit of hope in a certain way with AEW.
So there's a great point here from Ken, if you want to put that up on
Sure, yeah.
on screen.
Okay. Is this it?
He said that Robert made a lot of good points, but Tony only listens to the Young Bucks. AEW has had Jim Ross, Arn, Tully, Flair, Punk, and no one listens to them. You think they'll listen to Shane? So great point. I think part of it is Shane can speak a language to Tony that no one else can. When you grow up in the family environments that they did, when you're operating as the sons of billionaires, you can kind of have a shorthand that regular folks aren't necessarily going to be able to comprehend. That pressure, that family legacy. Shane and Tony both fans of ECW, fans of certain styles of wrestling. Shane's obviously going to be someone that Tony's going to look up to because of Tony's involvement in the Attitude Era.
Right.
And the way that Tony Khan revered that period of time in wrestling, that he's my age, so we've come up in that same window, and you can see the fingerprints of what Tony really appreciated. Having Shane there, gaining the insight of someone who learned at the foot of Vince McMahon, who learned alongside Pat Patterson, who was there for so many seminal moments in the course of the WWE, he's gonna want to listen to him to some degree. Listening to the Bucks got them where they are right now.
Exactly.
I think the Bucks' best value, best asset was their initial eye for talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were able to pick a lot of folks that they said either we work with these guys in PWG, we work with these guys in Ring of Honor, we know what's going on in the Indies, we have our fingers on the pulse of what's going on. Here are the people you need to bring in that are going to be really interesting, unique, complementary pieces. The other area that I thought the Bucks were going to over excel in was in merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people know the Young Bucks and the Bullet Club because of all their shirts. They got up into Hot Topic. No one sold merchandise outside of the WWE anywhere. Yeah. And these guys got mainstream exposure for their brand. I don't think that they've been fully successful with that in AEW, but now they need something, they being AEW, to shake it up. And putting Tony on camera is not a great idea because when Tony goes on, he's got a weird, goofy awkwardness to him that makes a great heel, but he's not self-aware enough to truly realize he's a great heel. If you remember those TNA bits that him and Shivani did,
that was great stuff.
Love that.
Me too.
That is a license to print money guy right there.
100%.
And instead, he's held back. He wants to make the show about the show, but utilizing Shane McMahon as a figurehead, as an authority, as somebody, Shane's solid on television. As long as he's not trying to put himself into matches, he's definitely got a value to AEW as a character. Though there's the other side of this argument, Dom.
What is that?
People like AEW because it's not the McMahons, because it's not the machine. It's self-made. This AEW was very good at capturing that Heyman-esque idea of us versus the world. Mm-hmm. And not that I have ever said anything critical about All Elite Wrestling. I love AEW, but occasionally people construe my unbridled enthusiasm for potential criticism of All Elite Wrestling. And they make it very aware in the comments and Twitter and DMs and all the like, which is fine. But AEW likes to be, it's like, this is ours. We made this ourselves without the establishment. And Shane, as a McMahon, is still very much the establishment.
Now, if they hypothetically assign Shane, put him on air as a television character, even use him in the right way, there is that diehard AEW fan base that really pushes back against tribalism. Is a big aspect of that sometimes. Do you think the cost benefit would be better to get Shane on than to not have him on?
There is a very small part of me, a very small conspiratorial part of me that thinks that this photo was leaked.
Absolutely.
I think it was. To see what the temperature is going to be. Mm-hmm. Tony saw what happened on the WWE side in the "We Want Cody," and he's always listening to what the fans want and thinking he's giving the audience what it is that they demand, that they are craving.
Right.
And if there is full-throated, universal, unwavering hatred of the idea of Shane McMahon showing up, he's probably not going to do it. but they're still finalizing this deal with Warner Discovery. I think Shane is a steady hand. I think Shane is a big name, and stuff we haven't even talked about because you may have talked about, but I wasn't here. Some of the free agents that are coming up in AEW doesn't necessarily seem like they're automatic re-signs. So like Penta, Phoenix, Danny Garcia. There's a possibility all three of them may wind up in WWE, and then it continues to call into question, what's going on with the future of AEW.
Right. That there is a lot of that. And yeah, I did not talk about that. And if WWE signs like Penta and Phoenix especially and boosts them up on their television program, when in comparison AEW didn't do that, it's another gut shot. So I don't know. It's very tough. Before we move on to preview Dynamite, I do want to ask, does Shane McMahon kind of have a good forward thinking of how the product should be happen moving forward? Does he have a good, like, hey, I'm 2 steps ahead than what I'm thinking? Kind of like Cody Rhodes in a certain marketing way. How is Shane's process with that?
I'm not sure how it is in 2024 because the wrestling landscape in 24 is different. Shane, good, bad, or indifferent, was the guy who created Raw Underground.
Yeah.
So he's always looking to try something different, shake up the status quo. I can see a world where he is the on-screen replacement for the Elite or the on-screen replacement for Christopher Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
Whether the, I think back to that great Ric Flair, the consortium is me, that he bought all the stock from the Invasion and he was the guy. Shane obviously is the moment of, the name on the track was McMahon for WCW, but it was Shane McMahon. So there's a lot of ways you can play him on camera as either an authority figure representing Tony, a consultant who's coming out there with a notepad and writing down things, the guy who overthrows the Bucks, or the guy who's supporting and working with the Bucks.
Yeah. I would not like to see that. I would like
a lot of these are messy, and using him on TV means he's gonna have to do a work shoot promo.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to get one of those famous clunky AEW, like, the other place didn't want me here. It should have been mine. So instead, I'm going to take what's yours, Tony. You can't not. Like, that's kind of the problem. Like, he can't just show up. And it's just like, oh, hi, it's Shane McMahon. It's like, no, you're going to have to address the fact that, he is the outcast, the Black Heart.
Yes. Well, would they have quite the cast? This is a bad segue. Quite the cast for Dynamite tonight. On the Dynamite.
Oh yeah, Dynamite's on tonight.
Yes.
9 minutes left. We gotta
hammer through it. Main event, Robert.
Oh, but look at you with so let me get this straight. You can keep it up. That was awesome. Okay. Sends me the wrong link. Forgets to post the audio, suddenly throwing graphics up on the screen like we're like a major production here.
I'm looking to do a make good.
Also, it's worth pointing out, guys, while this graphic is up on the screen, Dom's mustache is gone.
It is gone. No longer.
So the play is over. Welcome back, Mustache Dom. So we've got a lot of stuff that I'm confused about.
Will Ospreay versus Lance Archer. Listen, Robert, I was really excited because the past
Oh wait, where'd it go? You can keep it up. I like it up on the screen. I like being able to I like being able to see what's going on.
The past
scooch slightly.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, every once in a while.
The past couple weeks I've been excited because I'm like, oh, they're building Lance Archer. Good. Finally they're putting a little focus on him. Here, it's just to have this match.
Where have they been building Lance Archer?
Just on Collision.
Is this Collision?
Yeah, and then you see social media, like he's cutting promos and stuff like that. I'm like, at least they're putting a focus on him. It's good stuff.
Well, if a tree falls in the woods on a Saturday night on TNT, does it make a sound? So Ospreay is the number one contender in theory for the American title, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So we're using Lance Archer in the role that we always use him, which is big dude who gets beaten.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We'll hear from Mercedes Moné. Yes, maybe Camille will act a little bit more enthused. We'll hear from Bryan Danielson. So Danielson's an interesting one because we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but I guess due to his physical condition right now, they're going to be limiting his physicality going into All In.
How
We're
is
not
this a
going to
way
see
to-
him in the ring.
Yeah. The thing is how is this a way to hype him? I mean, unless they're really leaning into something like, okay, he's not that into winning the title, does not that enthused, and on top of it, he's dealing with injuries. Is this just some weird kind of like way to tell a story that's, I don't know, Robert?
No, they have this match penciled in
Mhm.
already as the main event, and Brian's physical condition is such that he can't go week to week right now, and they don't want to risk losing their main event. So it's a smart decision to go ahead and limit him a little bit, let him tell his story as to why this is so important. You know, I would be stealing from the Brett Shawn Iron Man match and do montage videos of these guys training and preparing. Show
Yeah.
me that Brian is in the best condition of his life on camera, at least without having to make him go and wrestle. Hangman and Darby, obviously that's a big marquee match. That's the most interesting match that I'm seeing on here.
Yeah.
Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander in an elimination match for the CMLL Women's Championship. There's nothing I love more than eliminator matches. But you know what I love even more than eliminator matches, Dom?
What's that?
Eliminator matches for titles that aren't in your company.
That's it. Look at that, you know?
And then, all right, maybe it's 12:24. It's pretty early in the day, but maybe I'm super drunk. What the hell is the conglomeration? And when did Roderick Strong and Roosh join up with the villain from the Power Rangers?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, he does look like the villain from the Power Rangers, the former Taurus. Yeah, I don't know, Robert. That's they didn't really tell anything, did they? Unless it was on Collision and none of us saw it. Or Rampage.
I'm just as baffled as everybody else. It's a 6-man tag. I love Mark Briscoe. Any chance to put him on TV, I'm all in favor of it.
I actually love all three of those guys, Ishii and Orange Cassidy too.
Sure. Let's go ahead and throw a fun 6-man on there, and then Mariah May sitting down with Renee Paquette. That should be pretty interesting.
Where are they coming from? Greenville.
Oh, they're in Greenville, South Carolina. Beautiful town. My wife lived there for a couple of years. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'll be traveling there in October for business.
Ooh.
Never been. I heard it's a lovely town. You can take this off the screen now. My neck is starting to hurt. There we go. Yeah. No, that was.
You want to make that a weekly thing?
Let's not. My we'll see. Right now, I'm broadcasting from my dining room, so I'm in different space than normal. So I don't have the same range of motion that I normally do. Kind of like Bryan Danielson. But you know, he's gonna talk and find a way to get his performance up for All In. And guys, if you're looking to get your performance back to where it used to be, our next sponsor needs no introduction. You've seen the ads. You've heard us talk about it a million times. And I bet there's a big part of you, pun intended, that wants to try it out. What am I talking about? Blue Chew. That's right. This isn't your grandpa's blue pill. This is the one, the OG chewable tablet for better sex. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but at a fraction of the cost and in chewable form. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. Blue Chew tablets are made in the USA and prepared and shipped directly to your door. The best part, it's all done online. No visits to the doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and you'll have a bigger hard-on than Vince did for screwing with his son, Shane. Because Blue Chew wants the entire country rock hard. They told me that's the mission. They will not stop until every man is bricked up like a brick house, till every tent is pitched, till every rod is raised, not Rod McMahon, but you can discover your options at BlueChew.com. We've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew free. We use our promo code RUMOR at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's BlueChew.com, promo code RUMOR to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring this episode of Rumor and Innuendo. By the way, Dom, your text just came to me right now.
Oh, about the
but sending the wrong link.
Yeah.
So even your texts.
What the bad producing?
You are a great producer of the other shows that you do. Why don't you tell us some of the tighter, more exciting shows?
Oh my God. Yeah, you can check out One of a Kind with RVD every Monday at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a great episode this week. We talk about if RVD believes in Joe Henry. We also talk about Mike Awesome and the potential feud that they could have had in ECW, and some fun stories behind the scenes with those two. Plus, a dream match that I would have loved to see happen between him and Scott Hall. But we talk about a lot of different stuff on that episode. Big fun one. So go to rvdtv.com. You can check out that episode now. And today, guys, you're going to get a double dose of Greg Gagne. It's going to be Straight Talk with the Boss tonight at 4 p.m.
You're supposed to be selling this to
on 4horsemanetwork.com. You'll catch up with Greg and Magnum there. But then at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you sign up on OneTrueSportTV.com, the Traveling Champion tier, you will do a live Q&A with Greg Gagne, and you guys can interact with him directly. So me and degenerate brother Marcus D'Angelo will be on that thing for there too. So OneTrueSportTV.com. Robert, you guys got something in store this week for Working Stiff, huh?
We do. Look, this weekend, apparently there's a big pay-per-view. The Wrestling Old Head asked Dom and Robert, are you two going to SummerSlam this weekend? As much as I want to be in beautiful Cleveland, Ohio, I will unfortunately not be live in attendance for SummerSlam. I'll be watching it the old-fashioned way on Peacock with a lot of the Wheatley commercial. And then I'll have that song stuck in my head for another month. I walk around my house legitimately singing that stupid Wheatley song. Constantly. Really? It's not enough to get me to drink American vodka. But American vodka. Good on them. But yeah, no, Scott Chaplin and myself, as well as potentially Mike Lawrence, if he's in town and able to join, we're going to preview SummerSlam. We're going to talk about the Dynamite. I'm sure those guys are going to have some thoughts on what's going on with Shane McMahon and Tony Khan, and that will lead to a little bit more X-rated comments than what you can say here on Rumor and Innuendo, because we are streaming live on YouTube on the Rumor and Innuendo Working Stiff and Ad-Free Shows YouTube page, where they don't like us using those profane words.
Never.
Or on X. It's been a year, by the way, since Twitter switched over to X. I still call it Twitter. Take that, Elon Musk. On mine at WWE_ish or the SE Scoops X Twitter page. So on behalf of the infallible Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpelis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
I choose you, Robert. Did it end? Oh, I didn't end it.
God
nope.
Damn it, Tom.